It's a scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore.
504 plans. In schools, there are two types of ways to get accommodations if a student has a disability: 504 plans and IEPs. They both require a documented disability, but 504 plan basically requires just that, a documented disability. And then you're supposed to be eligible for an accommodation for whatever you need to be able to access the facility or access the curriculum. IEPs are much harder to get because you have to prove that your documented disability directly impacts your ability to progress in the general education curriculum. Since 504 plans are much easier to get, a lot of times schools will pressure parents and students into accepting a 504 plan over an IEP because they know that it's going to be a bit of a struggle or a lot of more work on their part to get the kid qualified for, assessed for, and then offered accommodations via an IEP. The problem is 504 plans are very loosely regulated. A lot of schools don't have like a designated 504 coordinator who really knows what the job is. It gets pushed on to an assistant principal or somebody else in the office. And a lot of times the accommodations page from the 504 plan doesn't even get shared with teachers. I know some schools do it really well, and to all the 504 coordinators and people who got designated as that and didn't know it was going to be their job, bless you, you're doing an amazing job. But we all know that in a lot of schools, they just don't have that person, and it's being overlooked. Kids with ADHD notoriously get pushed into a 504 plan over an IEP, and a lot of times parents and teachers and people pushing for the 504 plan don't realize that that can be one of the most educationally debilitating disabilities that a kid can have. Things like ADHD and learning disabilities impact generally a lot of times memory, executive functioning, so the skills that you need to be able to progress in school in every subject in general. Just because the kid can read, write, and do math well doesn't mean that they're going to be able to do school if they can't memorize, retain, and stay organized. If the 504 plan is being upheld and all the teachers are aware of it and they're able to offer all the accommodations, that's great and it'll work just fine. But that's a rare circumstance that happens. I suggest to any parent that has been pushed into a 504 plan, look at some data again, see what your kids' scores are on their cognitive profile if you have one, and maybe push for that IEP because they'll definitely get a person attached to them as a case manager, and they will get their accommodations page much more vigilantly adhered to simply because the laws are stronger when it comes to IEPs.